Hi there, Rod here. This week I'd like to talk about the power of connection. Um, we live in a tremendously isolated society here in North America. We drive to our jobs and we come home and we flip on the TV, and a lot of times we're not connecting with people very much. Of course, we also have our devices, and so we've got our noses in our phones and in our computers much of the time, and we're just not connecting with people like we used to. And this is kind of a strong statement, but I believe that this isolation, it can be quite dangerous. I was in Seatac Airport a few weeks ago, and there was a documentary on, a CNN documentary, where they traveled to Ikaria, Greece, and they were doing a story on blue zones, which are zones where people live typically to 100 years or more. And Ikaria, Greece is one of those places. And it was super interesting. The author of that book, there's a book on blue zones. His name is Dan Buettner. When they asked him what the secret to Ikaria and the long life that people experience there, he said, you can't put it in a pill. And one of the scenes that really stood out to me was they showed a party that they do once a month, and the whole village was participating. There were, from the youngest right up to the oldest. And it just showed me, I think what Dan was talking about was you can't put the power of that type of connection into a pill. There's all kinds of other things as well, the food that they eat, and so their diet, and, they just live a really slow and peaceful type of life. But for me, that scene of that party really stood out and showed me the power of connection. I have another good friend. Her name is Jenny Conkin, and she's got a ministry called Holway House. And at Holway House, she started it when someone passed away in one of the rooms, and they didn't find that person for 2 weeks. And so Jenny got understandably a little bit upset. Her and her brother run this hotel. It's a single room occupancy hotel in downtown Vancouver. And they decided to do something about it. And they started community events. So they got people coming down and they taught them cooking, and they had a games night, and they did all kinds of things where people could connect. And the results were amazing. People's health improved. There were people that became more communicative. There was even people that wanted to start, began to believe in themselves and wanted to start working. And it was all through the power of connection and community that Jenny has created. An example that I've seen lately too is in some of the weight loss coaching that my wife and I have done. Typically people try to do those types of things on their own. They try to diet and break bad habits on their own. But we've just seen the power of connection through those groups. One of the things that I've realized with all of the work that I've done on myself and through my work on my own addictions is that I don't do alone very well. And one of the keys for me, I know, is connecting with other people, especially when I start to feel a little bit slippery and maybe possibly slipping into my own addictions. I know how important it is for me to connect. So, obviously you can, in the case of our weight loss program, we have the typical bars and shakes and all of that kind of stuff. But the one thing that you can't put in a pill to help break a bad habit and create better habits is the power of connection. All right, I hope that helps. And if you want to see some show notes, please go to fuelradio.com. Thanks, bye.